What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another special episode of the Dynamite review on the Tricology News Talk. And as always, I'm your host with the most, Mr. Tricology himself. And with me, as always, is my co-host with the most, Mr. Leland Benford. What's up? What's going on?
Look, we both got the most today. What's good, Trico? It is AEW Dynamite review time. It's Thursday, so you know what that means.
Yeah. Before we get into to the review, there's a couple things we gotta discuss. So there was a women's meeting today because, as you know, there was a lot of beef and locker room politic disputes. In case you guys already know, with the whole Britt Baker at the Thunder Road situation, Britt Baker think she's the Charlotte Flair of the AEW. So they had a meeting. Everything turned out great. So I'm just hoping by the time that CM Punk comes back, that hopefully they can squash he can squash the beef with the Elite and kind of look at what the women's locker room did. They kind of squashed everything that they did. So hopefully they can squash their beef, and hopefully we can get a rivalry program with the Elite and CM Punk, because ever since that incident, the fans have been wanting to see that. And I remember pitching this on the show once on having Punk team up with FTR versus the Elite. That was my pitch before, and they can still do that. And they do that on a stadium show, like maybe AEW Grand Slam or a stadium show before that. That's instantly going to sell out. So what are your thoughts on the talent meeting with the women did? Gotta like coming together to make sure like there's no tension or hesitant in the locker room, and hopefully you can see. Do you think you'll see the same when CM Punk when he comes back?
Oof. Yeah, it's been. I mean, I think I said it a couple of shows ago. I said, like, enough time has passed. Let's see if he can be professional. But if something else pops up, then bench him again, pretty much. But I think it's good that they're having those kind of talks and having clear communication, open communication. This way, no one feelings, build up and things like that. It's always good to kind of nip some of those things in the bud. So it's good that they're having those talks. What you think about it?
Yeah, I think when Punk comes back, everything will be squashed. I know the stuff that he said, even though it was true on some parts, but like there was just some parts, there were some things that's not meant to be said at a certain place and time. But stuff like that, things happen. So it's just a matter of like how can we move forward from this, and then just move on, because if we can move on with everything, bringing Punk back and everybody back, from like Andrade with his match with Sammy Guevara, and we can squash all that, then by the time we get to the summer and spring, AEW will be back on his in full force against WWE. But we'll see by the time we get to the spring and summer season. When we get.
Yeah, we will definitely see. I mean, they got great talent, and hate. First of all, I would hate for CM Punk's kind of arrival to be just done that quickly. That would kind of suck. But at the same point in time, if he, is hard to work with, if he creates tension, if he continues that, then you gotta kind of save the business. You can't just let it all go to waste because of one guy. So, I mean, that's kind of like, if you think about it, you can't let that just all go to waste, But at the same point in time, they put a lot of money in. They put a lot of money in CM Punk and bringing him over. Does that all go to waste? I would be mad if I paid someone $1 million and they only did, 25% of the work that I paid them to do. So it's good. I'm happy to hear that it's talked about bringing him back, though.
Yeah, because like I cannot see CM Punk going anywhere else besides AEW. I cannot see that at all. I can.
No, I don't think he's. I don't know. I mean, from all the reports we've heard, that him and Triple H don't really get along. So it's kind of difficult to kind of imagine him in a different promotion other than AEW. But at the same point in time, I mean, if he's, like I said, if he's a cancer to the company, then you can't let it all go to waste because of one guy. But I do want to hear Cult of Personality again. So, I'm hoping for the best.
Yep, yeah, we'll see. And then lastly, we want to talk about is that during his appearance on Bustle Over Radio, Tony Khan has officially confirmed that Ring of Honor will hold its first set of television tapings in Orlando in the Universal Studios soundstage on February 25th and 26th. So that and then later on, new episodes of weekly TV will premiere on the Honor Club streaming service starting on Thursday, March 2nd. So yeah, it's official. It's $9.99. So does this convince you to get on a card as part of your streaming services, or you just gonna wait it out in the first month to see how they do?
Yeah, I don't think anything would convince me to add another streaming service to my list of streaming services. Yeah, I wasn't like, following Ring of Honor too heavy, before all of this. So I think this is for the true Ring of Honor fans. This is for the die-hard Ring of Honor fans, the people who are really keeping that company going. So yeah, I don't think I'll be getting it anytime soon, unless I be hearing about, unless I hear some banger matches and some good matchups. But I'm happy to hear that Ring of Honor is starting to get their push. Tony Khan is not letting that company die, man. That mud is on his last leg, I feel. But Tony Khan is a fan of that promotion, and he's keeping it alive. So I think this is definitely for those Ring of Honor diehards.
And another question: does this with Honor Card finally open up, did this lead to finally separating the roster from AEW and ROH premiering on the same show?
I don't know. I think we might have a couple of more months of that, because the most popular Ring of Honor people are AEW people. So I think we got a couple more months of having that mix.
Yeah, and then also we also getting Super Card of Honor as part of the WrestleMania weekend, which is on that Friday. So let's see know where they go from there and everything else. But Dynamite last night, it kind of felt like a random episode to me. It's like if you was playing WWE 2K22 and you added AEW and all the shows on the universe mode and just randomized the show, that's why I felt like it was tonight.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that.
But yeah,
it's a lot of random things happen. There's a couple of things I noticed about last night episode that was like different from the previous week, because I think they've been like on a little bit of a hot streak. I think this one kind of ended the streak a little bit. But there was a couple of things I saw. There was a lot of entrances that was like already just like in the ring. And anytime you do that, you kind of like that guy's gonna lose. So that kind of took away the suspense or me wanting to watch a couple of those matches, because you already got the guy in the ring. We're not even hearing his music. He has no real entrance. I mean, like, I know he's gonna lose, just from wrestling, storytelling one-on-one. I know that guy's gonna lose. So that automatically, gets rid of my willingness to sit there and watch it. But there was a couple of things that was different about last night's episode. But you are right indeed. It did feel very random for most of these matches. I mean, even the first match, just to start off the first match, felt like a very random matchup.
Yeah. But at least we're getting we finally got some matches announced towards a Revolution. We're literally like 2 weeks away. And in case you guys already know, this week is the Elimination Chamber, and then the net, and then 2 weeks is Revolution, and then soon after you got a Ring Card of Honor, then Stand and Deliver, and 2 nights WrestleMania on the first week of April as part of WrestleMania weekend. So it's gonna be a busy time for all wrestling fans there. But we're here at AEW, and we are focusing on the road to Revolution. So we finally got some matches on the card already, but it's now time to build up some more matches onto the card. But Dynamite tonight. We started off with remembrance graphic the late Jarrett, and of course Jarrett had to start the show, and this led to a 8-man tag team matchup with the All Atlantic champion Orange Cassidy teaming up with the Acclaim and Daddy Ass Billy Gunn against Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt, with Team Orange Cassidy picking up the win. So again, first off, condolences to the Jarrett family for their loss. And this was a pretty good opener here. A lot of spots here, maybe too many at times, but at least everybody was happy that the right team won. But all honesty, this was just it was just in the middle of the Acclaim versus the Guns rivalry, which we'll get to that in a second. What's happening with the World Tag Team Championship match at Revolution. But well, your thoughts on the opener tonight, and your thoughts on the passing of Jarrett.
Yeah, the opener again felt very random. I think this match would have just worked if it was Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, something singing versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. I don't know why they had Orange Cassidy in it. He just felt out of place. And then also having my man's in it felt out of place because he's not a wrestler anymore. He's a manager. So he had on this manager shirt and his wrestling tights. And he really did nothing in the match but take the pin. So I'm not sure why they made this matchup. It felt very random. But as far as the action in the ring was pretty good. Of course, we had the Ass Boys. We had the Ass Boys show up a little later in the match to kind of distract the Claim a little bit, but then it worked. The Claim got the win, and the Claim and the Ass Boys did some jaw talking at the ring. I wish the Acclaim would have got out and like rushed the Ass Boys. You know, they don't seem as mad about it as the rest of us do.
Yeah, and we'll get to them in a second. And we got a video package of Bryan Daniels' quest to the Iron Man match at Revolution, saying with Bryan saying the Boogeyman is going to get MJF. Can you imagine if the Boogeyman was the AEW and he said, "I'm the Boogeyman and I'm coming to get you"? You know,
I mean, I don't know. Is that a Vince gimmick? I don't know. That might be copyrighted.
Well,
copyrighted gimmick, you know.
Well, who else? Who you think is crazy enough to eat worms? Eat worms.
No, I get it. Definitely understand. But yeah, I'm not sure who they talking about in this Boogeyman character.
Yeah. So we got the Texas Tornado match with the 2 members of the Blackpool Combat Club, with John Moxley and the ROH World Champion Claudio Castagnoli against Roosh and Preston Vance. So that this was an all-out brawl and turned into a war. And I won't be surprised if Roosh be the man who challenges Claudio for the ROH title at the pay-per-view. But oh my, you know, every time you see a John Moxley match, there has not been a time when he has not bleed. He even had a shirt says blood is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, we know if it's a Mox fight and it has anything to do with no rules, Mox is bleeding.
Oh my goodness! Like it was crazy from the left to right. But in the end, the team Blackpool Combat Club pick up a win with Moxley, but putting the choke on Vance to win. But then afterwards, when the cameras cut to the backstage, Heyman Adam Page was watching, but soon after the match was over, he was attacked by the Butcher, the Blade, and Kid Sabian backstage as the Dark Order ran to save their former runner buddy. And later on the evening, Heyman Adam Page will face Kid Sabian. So that's your So what are your thoughts on the Texas Tornado match?
So again, a very random match. Roosh and Preston. I know they got a little team, but I wasn't sure why they were going against Moxley and Claudio. Why was this a tornado match? This is just again a random match. It could have been just a normal tag team match. I think would have been fine. And also the placement on the card. I feel like we got this match way too soon. It was just a lot of random violence just to be random violence. So I couldn't connect with this match because I didn't know. Usually a tornado match is like for a tag team that's just been fighting for a minute and now no rules and you get to see this kind of brutal match. You got four guys all at once being able to be in the ring and hit each other. So it was a brutal match. So I'm not sure how we got to this point where a regular tag match just wouldn't suffice for it, but they felt like they needed to make it a special something for some reason. And it fell flat to me because I didn't know why these guys were beating each other up so many times. I know commentary was trying to say, like, oh, the last time Preston Vance met Mox, they left him in a bloody pool. But I'm like, well, when was that? Like, that was forever ago. That's when he was still in Dark Order. So again, I feel like they just needed to use Preston for something, but again, kind of a random match. I honestly would have liked better if it was just Roosh and Preston Vance versus some other tag team, just like and let them get the win or something. But not sure why they had to go this route. But the match felt random, hard to connect with it.
Actually, this match came about when Roosh and Preston Vance was jumping on Brian Danielson after Danielson beat Roosh last week, and then that's when Moxie and Claudio and the whole Blackpool Combat Club come in and save Brian, even though Brian has not been in contact with Blackpool Combat Club lately, ever since William turned their back on him and he left. So there was still some friendship there, even though there's not been no connection, no contact of any sorts, but they still have Brian's back. So that's why that Texas Tornado match that came about.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense, but yeah, still felt a little random for me. Just watching it, I'm like, okay, I guess we just got random violence. But even then, like I understand, like even that connection, I don't see why it had to be a tornado tag though, and like why it had to be that kind of brutal and that violent. It's kind of like you got to build me up to that. Why do they want to tear each other apart so viciously? If there's no why there, then it's like, oh, they're just doing it for craps and giggles.
And speaking of building a story in a rivalry, Jim Ross, JR, is having a sit down interview with Wardlow, who said he shared some personal stories with Joe when they were teaming. Wardlow shared the story with us. He looked up to his father, who he had somewhat a rocky relationship with. His father was in stage 4 cancer, but he was able to see his son wrestle in his first independent show. After he passed, Warlow said he grew out his beard and hair for him. Joe knew this and took it from him, the connection he had with his father. Joe might have survived every monster, but he won't survive Warlow. So this, I would say, this is about time we finally got some story here to why the ponytail everything meant to Warlow, and why Samoa Joe cut the ponytail off. So we finally get some story there. I think I would say since as far as the TNT title rivalry, I would say since Cody Rhodes and Mr. Brody Lee, and also Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara, is when the last time we got a real story with the TNT Championship, other than besides the title being hot potato a couple times. But yeah, so yeah, we finally got some story into the Samoa Joe and Wardlow rivalry. So that's good to see leading up to Revolution. But what
I
are your
really like
thoughts on
that.
that?
I really like that story. I think that story really connected them. They've been trying to tell all these Wardlow stories to get the fans to connect. But I think that one really did connect. And like the fact that he said and Joe knew that made it more personal. So we were talking about what they were going to do to build this up, and this is what they plan to do. It was an interview with JR and have Wardlow talk about this personal story. But we was trying to figure out, like, man, what they're going to do to build this match up in 3 weeks, and there we go. So I'm assuming next week, most likely, we might hear back from Joe, or there might be an altercation between Joe and Wardlow, and then that lead right into Revolution.
Yeah, and then we got an official announcement that Mark Briscoe, he's all elite, and he defeated Josh Woods tonight, and very actually showing by Briscoe in his second match at AEW, as Woods was a solid opponent for him last night. And then the Lucha Bros even came out, and they even got a huge reaction when they got Ari Daivari and Tony Denise out of the get them out of the ring, so they're fighting in the back. So it could be a true one-on-one in that situation. But yeah, Mark Briscoe, he's all elite, and he won his second match at AEW.
Congratulations to Mark Briscoe. Which is good. It's again a sad story, but I'm happy that the wrestling community is, taking care of Mark in his time of need, because we all know Jay was kind of like more of the front man of that duo. So he did lose something that was very important to his lifeline. Jay was definitely more of the mouthpiece. But I'm happy for Mark. I really am. I mean, he's going to be on a winning streak for a minute because of what happened. And then what do they do with Ring of Honor and the belts, But Ring of Honor really needs to treat these guys like these were the Briscoes carried Ring of Honor for a minute. And it's still kind of I don't think sucked in for a lot of people that Jay is really gone. He still feel like such a big part of the wrestling community. But good to see Mark still working and still carrying that legacy.
Yep. And then during the we moved to the backstage with Renee Paquette, and she had her sit down with Adam Cole, baby, who said he could not be happier to be back on the road with AEW. He's discouraged and not in the ring, but many victories are what it comes to appreciate. Looking at the AEW roster, he has a few ideas on who he wants to face, but will keep that to himself. It will be good for All Elite Wrestling and good for Adam Cole when he returns to action. So I would say after Revolution is when we might get Adam Cole back, because I think it's kind of too late to kind of involve him with something in Revolution. So I would say like after Revolution is when Adam Cole returns.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Who would he be in a rivalry with? So soon, um, which sucks. I mean, I know Adam Cole, probably wanted to be in Revolution, but they already got, their whole card probably picked, kind of lined up. But also just to jump back to the Mark Briscoe match with Woods, excuse me, varsity athletes. I don't like the name of their group, especially because there was a varsity blondes already. I hope they change that. That is a horrible name for that group. But continuing on.
Well, their whole gimmick is like they're varsity jocks, like they was on the football team.
Yeah, but none of them work. None of them are football players. And then, like I said, they were already like the varsity blonde. So I feel like that's just lazy, naming here. So hopefully they come up with a better name eventually for that group.
Yeah, but we'll see how that goes from there. But during the commercial break, when the AEW World Champion MJF was making his entrance, as he threw at the fan's phone, tossed a drink in another fan's face. He even spit the gummy. Yeah, he put a man's head. Like, oh my goodness, this is
He was
typical
doing the
MJF
most.
being the ass.
He was doing the most.
Jesus Christ. And then after the commercial break, MJF started his promo after the break saying it wasn't too long ago that the fans who worship Bryan Danielson now were previously devil worshippers. He turned his back on them before they could turn their back on him. Just like the crowd, Danielson is trash who convinced the crowd he is better than MJF. The only way you're the best in the world is if you're holding the AEW World Championship, not having 5-star matches. MJF is the best in the world, as Danielson doesn't have the balls to do what it takes to win the title. And then that led to MJF bringing out Christopher Daniels, who said Danielson has looked up to his entire career. MJF wanted Danielson to tell the fans the truth about Bryan Danielson. Daniel said MJF paid him on a obscene amount of money to interrogate Danielson. As the truth is, Danielson is set to knock MJF's dick in the dirt. 20-year-old Bryan Danielson hit him so hard, he felt like he was going to die. And that's when he knew he would be great. Daniels referred the King of the Indies tournament in 2001 that it inspired the creation of Ring of Honor. Danielson was a sprung who wanted to learn. He is who MJF wishes he could be. Daniels called MJF a fraud, and MJF smacked the microphone out of his hand, and Daniels slapped MJF in the face, and in return, MJF kicked him low in the nuts and applied the salt of the earth until Bryan Danielson hit the ring and MJF bailed out. So, like I said before, Bryan Danielson did his work on the matches he needed to win to become #1 contender and get that Iron Man match. Now we need to start seeing some more promos. Like we need to start hearing from Bryan Danielson, like, oh, like you hurt my mentor. That's why I'm after you. That's why I want to kill you. And now you did this to Chris Danielson. I'm gonna expose you of the fraud you are at Revolution. Like we need to see those type of promos leading up to to Revolution.
Also, still mad that Danielson doesn't have a proper T-shirt to sell or support the merch. Help the company make money there, bud. But yeah, still, I was kind of confused when Christopher Daniels came out, and then when he came out and explained everything, I said, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." And that was a good way of using. That was a good way of using Christopher Daniels as well.
Yeah, because Yeah, MJF is doing everything he can to try to expose Danielson, but it ain't working yet. But I will say they'll definitely deliver at Revolution or in that 60-man Iron Man match. They're definitely gonna deliver. They definitely.
Yeah, it's still going to be a banger of a match. It's going to be a 5-star banger, as MJF said.
Yep. And then we got a quick video package of the Guns celebrating their tag team title victory last week. Colton said they have had 10 televised matches and teaming for a year. Come Revolution, welcome to the Guns show. And then also, like I said before, we'll get to the World Tag Team title match at Revolution situation in a minute. But Jungle Boy, Jack Petty, went 1-on-1 with RA 6-man champion the Machine, Brian Cage. Now, this was a rematch from Winter is Coming. I forgot which one which Winter is Coming they had, but I will say like it wasn't as good as the Winter Coming match that they did before, but it was the only thing the match had suffered from was the picture during the commercial break. But it still has some good matches as Cage and Perry does have some good chemistry in the ring. But in the end, Jungle Boy Jack Perry pick up the win. But that celebration didn't last long as we saw the return of Christian Cage as he returned on the stage with his arm where we thought it was still injured, but Perry tried to charge at Cage, but apparently Christian Cage used a pepper spray mace in the face of Jungle Boy, and then Christian Cage took off the sling, showing that his arm is fully healed. And then Christian Cage hit the kill switch on the ramp, and then he says, "I'm not done with you, Perry." So we finally going to get that match so we can finally end the rivalry between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. But the question is, where's Luchasaurus? Now, here's my thing. So we get I think we get it, like I said, I think we're getting the match with Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. If you guys remember, at Full Gear, Jungle Boy beat Luchasaurus inside the steel cage. So it is a matter of time that we finally gonna get the proper match that we didn't get at All Out last year. So we finally gonna get it now at Revolution. So I hope that Luchasaurus finally reunites with Jungle Boy and bring back the Jurassic Express.
Yep, I definitely can see that happening for sure. I think also we were talking about this last week. Brian Cage needs to win more matches. He did win on Elevation this week, but that's such a small win. Brian Cage can't keep let these small guys just toss him around. I think they're doing bad booking with him, and maybe they don't believe in him, or maybe they don't want him to be a big star in that company. But if they do, then they definitely need to stop letting these much smaller guys beat him. These much smaller guys pick him up, throw him around. Like that's a lot. For us to want to keep believing into this this character of Brian Cage. So if they want to protect him, they need to start doing it.
Yeah, but well, we'll see how that goes because I know the its other trio partners will have something going on at Supercard of Honor. We don't know what's gonna happen with that, but now let's get to the World Tag Team title situation. So Renee Paquette that informed us at Revolution, the Guns will defend their titles against two teams. The first will be the winners of a traditional tag team battle royal next week, and then the following week a casino battle royale will determine the third team. But the Acclaim and Daddy Ass show up, said they were screwed out of the titles, which they was, and they said they're making this a fatal four-way tag team match at Revolution. So that was official. Now, I don't know why we're getting this fatal four-way at Revolution for the tag team titles. Like I said before, it should have been just the Guns versus the Acclaim, but now with this being a fatal four-way, I feel like this is just trying to cramp up the show and trying to get everybody on the show. But whoever wins those two battle royals, I hope it's somebody like worthy. You know what I'm saying? Don't give us this some random team. Like give us somebody like maybe like the Lucha Bros. Give it like those top level teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, someone that we be like, oh, anybody could win this one.
You know? Yeah.
Definitely agree. Let's not have just random teams. We need some good teams. Let us be on the fence, be on the edge of our seat, seeing who will win it.
Yeah, yep. But then moving on backstage with the Elite, Don Callis and Mike Nakazawa with basketballs, talk about the All-Star weekend. You gonna be watching the All-Star weekend? I know I'm only gonna be watching on Saturday night and Sunday night. I don't care too much about Friday night.
Gotcha. I'm actually gonna be in Orlando over the weekend. I'm taking my nephew to Full Sail, check out the BTS tour.
Nice.
Yeah, he's thinking about going for the audio production program. So probably won't have too much time this weekend to do it, but I'm looking forward to the highlights.
Yeah. So yeah, they were hyping up for the All-Star weekend. Of course, it will be on TNT. And AR Fox and Top Flight showed up holding basketballs as well, wanting to run it back on Rampage from their trios match that they had last week. Callis said no, as Dante said, yeah, y'all might have basketballs, but y'all don't have actual balls. So so Omega accepted the challenge. This ended with Brian Cutler being hit with basketballs, hit in the balls with basketball when he was holding the camera, and then so it was so we getting the trios tag team title rematch on Rampage, which is now called for this week Rampage Slam Dunk.
Hey, did you pick up the brief moment where the camera glitched and it showed the House of Black?
Oh yeah, we had that black glitch. So is this a sign that we're getting the House of Black versus the Elite at Revolution? Is this a sign?
Yeah, I had paused it at the right moment and I seen the whole House of Black there. So yeah, I think House of Black will be the next ones on the list.
Man, I can't wait for that. But next match, Heyman Adam Page defeated Kip Sabian, despite with Kip Sabian and the Butcher of Blade try to attack Heyman Adam Page earlier in the night. It just wasn't enough. So Heyman Adam Page wins, but after the match is what really got kicked off here. So John Moxley with Claudio Castagnoli and Willie Uda walked down to the ring. Moxley said Page thinks they have unfinished business, but they don't. Moxley beat him weeks ago. He has respect for Page and his number, but there's no chance in hell Page will ever beat him again. Page said he don't think Moxley was satisfied how it ended with that roll up. So you already know he wasn't satisfied, but he want to act like he was satisfied. But Page thinks this ends with only one of us left standing at Revolution. So Moxley hoped he would say that, and you don't have any friends to talk you out of it. And that's when Dark Order walk out and Evil Uno, man, I haven't seen Uno this intense in a while. So
Right?
He said that they had Heyman Adam Page back for through and through. Page tried to calm Uno down. I'm like, bro, get out of the way. Uno pie face Moxley. I'm like, oh, you should not have done that. And he said, I'm not afraid of you. Then Moxley was staring down to Uno for a couple of seconds, and then look at Page and said, "Hey, Madam Page, Texas Death." So it's official. We're getting the Texas Death match between John Moxley and Heyman Adam Page at Revolution. So I said that before. It kind of made sense. So Heyman Adam Page is a cowboy, and then Moxley is the king of the hardcore matches. So why not? Why not?
Why not? I think these guys have good chemistry. I like seeing these guys fight. They hit hard. They you know, they both like to fight, you know. So I mean, I like seeing these guys go at it.
Man, if you thought the last matches were intense, boy, you haven't seen nothing yet. You haven't seen nothing.
Oh,
So,
facts. I can't wait to see what else they do with it because they love to scrap.
yeah. So Tony Schiavone went backstage with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho said Ricky Starks won't be getting his rematch as he is not on Jericho's level. Boy, he beat you. What are you talking about? Oh my goodness. And Daniel Garcia said this is his Stark's time. And this Friday on Rampage, he's going to expose Stark at the absolute fraud. So, if this is where that Ricky Starks gonna finally beat Daniel Garcia, and we're finally gonna get we're gonna get this match or one way or the other. But like, why is Ricky Starks going through all this stuff and he beat you the first time, Jericho? What's going on here? Like I said before, this is just we all know this is for to elevate Ricky Starks, and Jericho is that type of person to help the young stars go over. So yeah, it all kind of makes it, but it's all kind of stupid at certain times. But I understand why they're doing this, all this stuff. But man, well, what do you think?
Your mama grilled us that shit.
I'm not sure exactly what their plan is here. I'm not sure like exactly what direction they're going in, or kind of like how to view it. What do you think about it?
Like I said, I'm like, why is Ricky Starks going through all this where he beat Jericho once? Like, it's just stupid.
Exactly. Like, I kind of don't like that Ricky Starks is involved with the JAS right now. You know, I feel like the JAS is kind of like that team now. I think Jericho needs to disbar JAS, but you know, it is what it is. But I don't like that Ricky Starks is involved with that troop.
Corey. All right, so. So we got our lineup starting with Rampage Slam Dunk with the Elite facing AR Fox and Top Flight in a rematch for the AEW Trios titles. Daniel Garcia versus Ricky Starks. Jay Cargill defends our TBS title in an open challenge against Vetsinir. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then Swerve Strickland versus Dustin Rhodes. And then NetSuite's Dynamite. We got John Moxley versus Evil Uno. Then we got the traditional tag team battle royal to see who's going to advance to Revolution for the AEW tag team titles. So far, the teams are announced for this are Best Friends, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Leto, the Lucha Bros, Butcher and the Blade, Tony Nese and Ari Daivari, Alex Reyes and John Silver, and Matt Menard versus and Matt Menard and Angelo Parker for the JAS. And then for Revolution, MJF defends the AEW World Title against Bryan Danielson in a 60-man Iron Man match. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow for the TNT title. John Moxley versus Heyman Adam Page in the Texas Death match. The Guns versus the Acclaim versus two other winning teams for the upcoming Battle Royals in a fatal four-way for the World Tag Team titles. And now, main event. Ruby Soho versus Toni Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker here. Now, we got a lot of questions here, and hopefully we can get some answers and hopefully get this story going forward. Now, I said before, that this all gonna lead to the first ever women's the blood and guts match. But we still gonna need some more people. But but in the end, Ruby Soho defeated Tony Storm and Britt Baker was a very okay a triple threat match, but the whole story here is he like who Ruby Soho is gonna side with. Is he gonna side with the originals in Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker, or side with the outsiders of Soraya and Tony Storm? Now, let's talk about Ruby Soho real quick. Now, she said, I don't want to be a part of this crap. I ain't got no beef for y'all. All I want is the AEW Women's World Title. So that's one part there. So then with Soraya and Tony Storm, are they becoming like matter of fact, we did talk about this before. We talk about are they becoming like the outsiders from Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, and then many people thinking that Ruby Soho will be the Hulk Hogan, and I mean that could be a possibility. It could be a possibility, but what if Mercedes Moné are pulling the strings here, and then we get more stars, maybe bringing in Mandy Rose in there, and maybe putting Athena in the mix. Well, that depends if you're gonna. She did came from WWE, but that's if she's gonna join the Outsiders team or the AEW Originals team, because we got to get more people. And I know I think Okada Shia, I heard she was injured. I don't know how long it is. Man, I do expect her to be on the AEW Originals team. Maybe we could get Jade Cargill in there for the AEW Originals team. Depends on how many people they're gonna get in there. So it's just a matter of how we can build this up going to the first ever all women's blood and gut match. But for right now, it's just a matter of what's gonna happen between the women going into AEW Revolution. Now, I said that Ruby Soho was coming for the title, but in my personal opinion, I think Soraya might win the title. Because let's be all honest here. Like ever since this story came about, and ever since Jamie Hayter won the title back at Full Gear, her title reign has not been the focus point. It hasn't been getting a lot of attention. Because that's why I said that Soraya might win the title, so we can finally get some explanation on why they spray paint all the women, the spray paint L's on the women's
They're
division.
losers.
Yeah. Yeah, like what do you think, man? Like where do you see this going into Revolution? Like what do you see this story leading up to as far as or who you think is going to come to AEW for the other side and like all the other stuff?
I don't know, man, but I think Mercedes is definitely a good, bet. You know what I mean? I mean, she already did the New Japan thing, so why not come over? So I think definitely it will be something to keep an eye out on, because I think they're gonna have somebody come over. There's somebody's gonna come over and do something big. So I think I think Mercedes is definitely a good candidate for that.
And who you think? Well, if you was making the women's all blood and guts match, who you think should be on the team originals against the team outsiders?
I mean, I think you know what, but I think Ruby is going to be the one who kind of makes that decision. If they're building that story up around Ruby, if you want to back up the originals or the outsiders. But Ruby is an outsider. She's a runaway. That was her whole gimmick. So I think that would be the one to kind of be the big one. But then let's say she goes over to the original side, and then Mercedes pop up to back up the outsiders. So now you have more of a group, like more of a faction here.
Yeah, possibly the ladies version of the NWO, like we mentioned.
Yep, kind of following that same kind of storyline.
Man, it's just crazy. So like I said, I do we might get a triple threat between Jamie Hayter, Ruby Soho, and Soraya at the pay-per-view, or maybe some kind of tag team match. I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah, they got to do something to make it more intrigue going into Revolution, and then keep the story going forward to Blood and Guts.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to like what's going on at Revolution. What's going on with the thing I like about AEW is that all these stories come to a head at the exact same time. The pay-per-views are the real ends of these stories for the most time, for the most part. I mean, I can't say that with the Blackpool Combat Club and JAS that went on forever and ever and ever. But for the most part, they um all the stories usually kind of come to some kind of end here. So looking forward to finally some of these stories coming to an end and seeing what some of these are going to do.
Yep, but we'll see how that goes. But like I said before, we finally are starting to build up Revolution. The Forge formats, like we mentioned, it's looking pretty good. But we'll see how that goes. And I do expect that they might announce the fates of the Revolution ladder match again. It's just a matter of who's going to be in it. So, and then what's going to happen with the women's division on the side, and then so yeah, we got like 2 weeks away, y'all.
2 weeks away, and then everything comes to a head.
Yeah, and then maybe in the next episode it will be here. We're probably gonna do a predictions on predictions on Revolution, and then later on after Revolution, hopefully we can do a pay-per-view review on that as well.
Yep, definitely gotta do the review on that one.
Yep, and yeah, like I said before, pretty random episode, but hopefully next week we'll start to on the go home show before Revolution. So hopefully we get something no in 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks. And then next week and then the following week, hopefully we'll get something going there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to how some of these things are getting ready to play out and how some of these stories are coming to a head. But guys, we got a lot of big stuff coming up, man. We got a lot of cool things that's ahead of us. Trico and I are working on some projects together that just getting ready to come out. But before we get to that, Trico, what did you think about this episode of Dynamite? A little random, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, like I said, it was pretty random at certain parts, but hopefully, the next 2 weeks going into Revolution, we start get something going from there. But that's my thoughts on Dynamite tonight. And then lastly, before we wrap up, tomorrow tomorrow afternoon at like 10 minutes before 3 p.m. We're gonna get some more info on AEW Fight Forever at the IGN Fan Fest. So mark your calendars here if you want to hear some more details and news on the AEW Fight Forever. So be sure to tune in for that at the IGN Fan Fest around 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow.
Man, I did see a funny meme about that game. It said AEW wait forever. Wait forever. But That's cool. I'm happy to hear there's more news coming out. Hopefully, there is a release date. But that is what everybody is waiting on now, is a release date.
Yeah, we're definitely waiting on that, and hopefully we get some news there at the IAGN Fan Fest the tomorrow afternoon. But that's all we have for you guys today. And anything else you want to plug in before we wrap up?
Man, Empathy is coming along. Empathy will be out in May. That's the official release month for it. Not sure on the release date, but the official release month is May. We are putting our last kind of little touches on it now, and we will be getting things ramped up. Trailers and everything will be coming out soon. So guys, keep a look for that.
Yeah. And then without further ado, he's Leland and I'm Trico, and we're signing off. And then we'll see y'all and then next week. And then we on the road to revolution, y'all.
That's right. Peace. Talk to you guys later.